evening, everyone. This isn't for the band. It's just going to be for some of the speakers, so hopefully the band will show up later. Well, good evening. I'm Grace Rapp, president of our board. And tonight we're celebrating the birth and start of INAUg. But with any birth, the hard work is yet to come, and we need more than a village. We need everyone who eats food, buys food, grows food, and cares that we will all have access to food to know about INAUg, our organization, and incorporate our organization into our daily lives. We want INAUg to be the Huffington Post of food. We want it to be well known and revered, as you know, the Good Housekeeping seal of approval back years ago. You know, this organization started about 2.5 years ago. We started meeting. There was about 7 of us that would get together. We started talking about the importance of food and how we just wanted to do something. I've known Christy here for probably about 18 years. She's been a neighbor on the other side of the alley. A couple years ago, I had the pleasure of working for Christy, and she was really excited about, you know, food and what was happening in the city. And she asked me to start keeping a directory. She's like, just start writing down everybody that's involved with food. Let's just start a list. And then we started meeting. There was about 7 of us. A couple years ago, we became a little more formal. We've been incorporated for about 2 years. We've met unofficially at the Posts, the Rapps, the Boardman Fergusons, Christie's. We've had strategic retreats to establish our vision, our mission. Let me tell you a little bit about our vision. You can go on our website, which is really quite fabulous. But the vision is, our vision is communities worldwide are reconnected to the production of their food. That we really know where things are coming from. And then our mission, and this is what we want to foster, is to inspire and foster urban farming through networking, education, and advocacy, especially advocacy. You know, we want everybody to know about it, believe in it, and practice it. So we've met at these meetings. We've had strategic retreats. We came up with a vision, a mission. We designed our logo. A little out of work. You know, I can only speak for myself when I say I don't know what I don't know. And we've all, as a group, come to the point where we're here to invite all of you to help us. Through your support, through your memberships, or advisory roles in INAUg. There are so many organizations that ask for help, and I think food is the single most common thing that touches all of our lives. So thank you for coming tonight. We're going to have a few people say a few words to support our organization and to show you how we can support your lives as well. I've learned a lot about myself and my fellow board members who I just want to mention. Roger Cooley, if you could raise your hands so people
Roger
know.
Cooley! Yeah.
Roger Post.
Where's Roger Post? Hey!
Deborah Boardman.
Yay!
Christy Weber. And Joe Ferguson and Marina Post, who couldn't join us tonight in person, but were instrumental in putting this event together. I also want to recognize Peter Cunningham, who's here this evening.
Yay, Peter!
And Jackie Kazarian, his wife, who were instrumental in starting the momentum for this INAUg. So thank you very much. And Christy, why don't you say a few words as well?
Okay, hey guys, thanks for coming so much. This is Christy Weber Landscapes, but this has nothing to do with Christy Weber Landscapes, just so you know. Sorry that Joe couldn't be here, he had a busy day, eh? And he was instrumental in bringing this together. I just wanted to let him know. And Marina Post, the Post family, has been great about feeding us at their home. You know, you can't even imagine how many reiterations and iterations of INAUg came around and about, and you know, a lot of great thinkers, a lot of people with great ideas, and I think all of it was just so we could get together and eat good food. And we did that. We did a lot of that. But the idea was to try to bring things together for everybody so that we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. It's not that tough to grow food, but as a board member of Neighborspace, listening to Erica, listening to Angela, listening to a lot of people across this great city and the country and the world, why is it just growing tomatoes where everything seems so mysterious? That's why I thought this would be a great thing, a web-based place for people to look, see what's going on, teach themselves how to do this. And it's the same in landscaping, by the way. People are so scared of landscaping. People are so scared of food. I've actually had to tell kids that are picking food, even my own, as you can see as he eats his Skittles, that you can eat that. And that it doesn't have to come from a store, that you can grow it and eat it right there. Why everything has become so dirty and so like we're not supposed to have it unless it goes through some process is beyond me. So that's the idea of INAUg, is to bring people together, to have a place to talk. We need money. We need staff. We didn't invite you here just to drink on our house, believe me. Believe me, I have funded this thing. I love this. This is my new mission in life, and if it goes anything like Christy Weber Landscapes, watch out. All I want to do is start people thinking about growing food, have a place for them to go to. We need staff, writers, board members, money, and plenty of other people that come up here are going to say the same thing, but think of us first tonight because you're drinking my beer. All right? So, with that, a dear friend of mine, I really want to bring her up because I'm so proud of her. She was just featured in the Sun-Times, her and her husband. They kind of took this on their own. They picked up a garden from another gal. What was her name? What was that gal's name, Sam? What? Yes. And maybe you could mention that. And it was their neighborhood, and they transformed this garden, kind of brought the community together, moved over to Garfield Park, and then, moved into my house. So every time Sam takes my dump truck, I'm always wondering where he's taking something to. I don't ask any questions. But I'd like Angela to come up and say just a couple quick words about what she's doing with kids. And Angela Taylor, give her a great hand. These are my boys, Oliver and Theodore. And I believe that Jenny is my girlfriend. We can't get married, but we will. We went to a wedding this weekend. It was a bummer that we can't get married. But Jenny, thank you for taking care of everything for me and taking care of me.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks to everybody for coming. And I'm not going to get long-winded because when I start talking green, as you see how the lawn is laid out, it can run on forever. And I'm so happy just to see so much green coming up in the city of Chicago. And I'm even more happy to see green coming up in the area that I live, which is where you're standing, in Garfield Park. It's been a long transition, and we're going one step at a time, but those steps are going up, 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 just like to that garden top roof. Our rooftop garden. Okay, I pretty much started, me and my husband, we moved in the house. There was a garden installed there that had not been worked for about 4 years. So we started restoring the garden, and we continued to restore the garden. We got all the raised beds refurbished. The next step was we got a garden club going. The next step, we got a grant fellowship, a 30 by 24 greenhouse installed at our garden, where now we're able to share with community gardens all over the city, where they can come in February and start propagating their vegetable and flower seeds and take them back to their gardens, which makes me feel that my garden down on Fulton Street is actually thriving in every garden across the city. That's a 10. Now we got to this year, where I retired from work in December. I met with some administrators of an alternative high school because my heart was calling me to work with teenagers. Get the kids out and teach them about how to grow food. how to learn where your food actually comes from. And starting, I think it was January 28th, I took on my first group of 8 kids. We worked for a 10-week period, and we propagated vegetable seeds inside of the greenhouse. And you should have saw their faces when they raised up those little incubator raised beds, and they saw those June peas had sprouted. It was like everybody stopped working, and they had to look at what they had done. And they actually came back in June, so they were able to taste their June peas as well. I got the next group, and they moved with me around the Garfield area, helping to plant vegetable seeds and sprucing up gardens. I think we worked maybe about 10 gardens across the area. The outcome of that was that we had enough food that we produced right here locally in Garfield Park, where now we have our own neighborhood market. Our neighborhood market features produce that is actually grown in walking distance from where you're standing right now. So it's not a challenge as to figure out where your food came from. It came off of Madison Street in a garden where people that loved and cared for it grew it, pulled it out, washed it, cleaned it over, and brought it over here so you can buy it. So that way we can be self-supportive, self-sustaining, and take care of ourselves. Christy, we love you very much. You're a wonderful partner because she is there for us any way we turn and whatever we need. She's just so willing to give because she's saying it's N-U-A, but I think it's U-N-A, because all of us need to be in the A, so we'll understand what it's all about. So if each one teach one, then we'll all know what it's all about. And I guess I need to stop there. Thank you. The market is on the 4th Saturday at Cassian Lake, and I hope to see some of you guys there. Please come by my table because the produce that is canned did come locally from here in Garfield Park. Thank you.
I want to introduce another speaker now, a very dear friend of mine who has become sort of a mentor over the years. I'm very happy to introduce to you Mark Schulman. He's the president and CEO of Eli's Cheesecake. He's also the co-chair of the Business Advisory Board for the Chicago High School for Agricultural Sciences. Mark?
Yeah, Mark! Hooray!
It's a hard speech to follow, so the only thing I can happily say is I did bring dessert tonight, so there is to go with the Inspiration Cafe made in Chicago. So proud that Eli's is a Chicago company, 230 associates on the northwest side. But I'm here tonight because of a long-time partnership with the Chicago High School for Ag Sciences. Bill Hook is here, our principal, and we are so fortunate that in Chicago, for 27 years, we've had a school at 111th and Pulaski that has produced a generation of leaders in food and horticulture and animal science, life sciences, was doing it far before urban agriculture had really come around. It was a leader with the first student of color to ever had the National FFA organization, and today we have over 3,000 applications for 180 spots. So it becomes so tough, and the great thing about this school, it's a Chicago public school, not a charter school, which are great, but it's a public school, and it has had so much support, and it's for good kids. It's not a selective enrollment, it's a magnet, and one of our commitments, and we have an advisory board meeting, it meets September 18th. We certainly welcome the community to attend. We have great support. You know, the president of the U of I, Bob Easter, was the dean of agriculture. Supportive. Our students go to Iowa State, Minnesota, Indiana, Michigan State, the list goes on and on. My personal passion, and working with Bill and Victoria Cooper, retired dean at Wright Colleges, we have opportunities on the north side of Chicago. There's 40 acres of land near Eli's. It was originally the Dunning property, owned by CPS, and an opportunity to create that chance so great kids on the north side can have that same education. The great thing about the Ag School, it works with everyone. It works with the community and a great partner. So again, thank you, Grace. We're happy you're at CPS. Thank you for the educators who are here. And hey, food is great, and food made and grown in Chicago is even better. Thank you.
thanks everyone for coming. I'm Roger Cooley, the Executive Director of INAUg, International Network for Urban Ag. So thanks everyone for coming out on such a beautiful night. I'm going to introduce Erica Allen. She is the National and Chicago Projects Director for Growing Power, one of the largest urban ag organizations in the country right now, based out of Milwaukee. She's also a Park District Commissioner currently and is Board President of the Chicago Food Policy Advisory Council. She's been here for 10 years working. She's been a friend and colleague for all that time, and I'm continually impressed by her and Growing Power's approach to working with the food system, by starting with the soil and composting to large-scale production of healthy food. They're working on over 10 acres in Chicago, 13 acres in Chicago now they have planted and they farm. Working with teens and young adults, similar to the story of Angela, all working with providing the jobs while also confronting the inequality and racism that's inherent in the food system right now. So I'd like to welcome Erica to say a few words.
Roger actually was one of the first folks to support our work in Chicago. There's quite a few veterans here. Over a decade ago, it's like 12 years I think now, there was a big summit, Illinois Food Security Summit that the Chicago Community Trust supported. A whole bunch of us were thrown together at Pheasants Run and into this open space. And the top two things that came out of over 75 different topics were starting a Chicago Area Food Policy Council and the development of community food centers. And it was the first time that I really got to see, I was working in a different sector. I was doing emergency food and FEMA funding and working for a small social service agency. And my father called me from Milwaukee and was like, you need to go to this summit. And I was like, all right. And I was starting to put the pieces together of this continuum of, emergency services to enrichment. I just got my master's in art therapy. I had no interest in doing farming. I grew up farming and no interest. And it all kind of came together at this summit. I was like, oh, I can't do art therapy. I have to help people grow food. We can do this in Chicago. And I didn't see any community food center. I didn't see anyone pulling it all together in one place. And so that emerged our office and just really doing all of this work. So just want to I like to do the historical thing, and Michael and Sydney and some of the other folks that are here have been here throughout the entire development of this work in our city, and it's been pretty amazing to see how we went from the people thinking about the food system and urban ag being a little raised box in a garden and calling that farming and urban ag to really big production where you have value-added products and people are able to really generate businesses and economic development. And I think for us, one of the things that we constantly push ourselves is creating opportunities for folks to be economically sovereign. This is not about just the environmental piece, although that's a big piece of the puzzle. It's about social inequity and creating social justice through economics, right? So people don't have food if they don't have money, if they don't have stable housing, if they're not solidified within the environment. It creates a lot of instability and a lot of challenges. So we understand that. And I think especially coming from, both an immigrant background and an African-American background, food has always been what binds us, what helps us survive. And to see that within a generation, we don't even have food. It's really terrifying. And I think in a city like ours, it's a responsibility with the kind of resources we have, with the kind of waste streams we have, that we can really create a system here that can be a model for the world. That's what inspires me. It's not the getting in the paper and knowing the Christy Webbers of the world, all that. It's about how to create that Eden within our city, and we can do that. We can create that space where we can relate to each other and have beautiful meals and have safe environment for our children through reclaiming the food system. So I'm excited to be part of this INAUg where we're going to hear and connect with folks globally who are trying to figure this out. I know for the work that we do, and Laurel's here as well, who is sitting over there with her son as well. I mean, we we live and breathe this work, and we don't often have the resources or the time to really promote our work, to let people know what we're doing. You know, just the sheer expanse of the work that Growing Power does and all the other folks who do this work. We don't promote ourselves really, you know, so to have an entity that can do that, can do it well, is exciting. So I'm just glad to be part of it and support it, not to take any of your funding away. It's important just to have everybody, you know, be on the same page around what we're trying to accomplish, you know, and so seeing who can play what role well and support those roles is how we move forward. So congratulations, glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll wrap up now so we can enjoy the beverages. We've got desserts generously provided by Mark from Eli's Cheesecake that'll be coming out shortly, so stick around for that, and we'll finish this wonderful treats from Inspiration Cafe, and thank you all for bringing those. I wanted to thank Angela, Mark, and Erica for sharing their dedication and passion. It's clear that the focus and intensity that they've gotten from being engaged with urban agriculture, the production that's taking place in Chicago, it's wonderful. And inspiring for me always to see what can happen and the possibility for change. And I think it makes sense in some level that, you know, we're starting this organization here out of Chicago, that there's been such great work that's taken place. I've been involved in urban agriculture for the past 13 years, and we're light years ahead of where we were when I started. Again, as Erica was saying, urban ag was considered a misnomer. Nobody was able to get a grip of what that means. And now we're at meetings and conversations where there's major funders and politicians who are able to articulate and be clear about what it means to support urban ag and start seeing all the many benefits that take place. So again, thank you all for coming. It's been a beautiful evening. Just again, as Christy was reiterating, we're also looking for support now. At the white umbrella is the registration desk. We're also taking donations. We can do check, charge, and cash tonight. So please, after you eat and enjoy on your way out, please take a stop there. We're also asking folks to sign up how they want to stay involved over time with us, whether they want to volunteer or just join up online. It's free to become a member, very easy to join, and start getting engaged with folks around the world. We've had people, we've done a very soft launch of our website, and we've already had people from over 10 countries find us and sign up and join, and so we're hoping to facilitate that conversation in a much bigger way. Again, we're trying to be the resource and hub for all information urban ag related, and try to making it free and available for folks globally. A few thanks before we go. I want to thank Christy and Christy Weber Landscapes and the staff from Farm and Garden Center. They've been hugely supportive, and this would have been impossible without them. And the whole organization would have been impossible without Christy's support, so thank you so much. The other board members who, as Grace was mentioning, we've done 2 years of monthly meetings, so they've given up a lot of family time and evening time to be part of this growing organization. I want to thank Adam Stewart. Adam, can you raise your hand? He's the guy from the Marching Lizard Design Company who's been doing our website, so many thanks to him for his hard work and patience with us as we figured this out. Thanks to the Honey Co-op and to the Garfield Park Community Markets and to Growing Power and to the Farm and Garden Center. Please purchase their wares so they can go home empty-handed as you go. But again, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the evening.